Are you looking for a quiet and kid-friendly BC Lake campground? A hidden gem? I'll show you where you can find it. I'm Diego and I'm planning this all from Switzerland, so my research has to be ruthless. In the next few minutes, I'll give you my 3-lens system and I'll show you how they work, that it points right to the Moosehaven campsite or resort. What you'll get is a repeatable checklist to uncover quieter, cheaper, local approved campsites or Go Canada approved campsites across Western Canada, and we will apply to the Moosehaven today. And the system that I actually use is the 3-lens system or the 3 Ls. So the first lens is about the location fit. It is about drive times, road type, noise, these type of things. Second lens is the proof. We look at the newest pictures, reviews, capacity clues maybe even, to see if these all match up. And then thirdly, about the vibe. We're going back to these pictures, looking if they are appealing enough, if you could picture us being there, if they're kid-friendly and if they have family-friendly amenities that maybe aren't only interesting for families but also for couples. And with that, we start with the first L, the first lens, which is the location fit. And we're gonna move over to that in a second, and we're gonna share the screen. And what I usually do is I outline the rough route that we would take, or if I would do it for somebody else, I'll show them the route, and then we're gonna look for each stop we plan to take the closest campsite that fits our needs and our criteria the best. So let's do that. Let's share the screen. There you go. So I'll put my picture up here. Here is an outline of a possible route that I have taken, and I also advised for another client in a similar way. In this case, we plan to see clear water at the Helmken Falls, and we want to make sure that we on the top, that is right up here, we get to Horsefly in a 2 to 3 hours drive. It's about the 2 to 3 hours rule driving. I'll come to that later. And we wanted to be close to clear water. Hence, we wanted to make sure finding a great campsite. Doing that, what I usually do is enter camp, first clear water. Of course, we want to get close to clear water. We zoom out a bit to get better picture of all the campgrounds here nearby. And then we enter campground. In doing that, it shows you all the campgrounds that are close to clear water. If you zoom out, you could press search in this area and you get even more proposals. You could, if you want to narrow down, even use words like campground or municipal campgrounds, recreational sites, and maybe just camp sites could work as well. But usually what works best for us, in my experience, is just campground. And then if you see a possible candidate, let's say you might even broaden the search area, you could even check for that one and say, that might be a good one. Let's see how close it is to clear water. And then you use the directions to it and the clear water. And look at that. It's 50 minutes away. That is doable for our family. We could do it and use a day trip to Clearwater at the Helmken Falls, and could even end up eating dinner at the restaurant in Clearwater. There's actually one that is very awesome. It's a smoke barbecue restaurant. We haven't been able to be there, but we heard a ton of good reviews and it looks amazing. Beautiful location, by the way. If you want to know more, let me know in the comments. I'll hit the link below. So location fit. We also wanted to make sure, if you stay at this resort, for example, that it is not too far off Horsefly, because we wanted to go to Horsefly afterwards. So 2 hours drive, also doable. And you see, it is not too far off 100 Wildhouse as well. That's an area actually we wanted to stop when we drive to Horsefly, because we wanted to have breakfast there. There's a great breakfast joint. If you want to know more about that one, let me know in the comments too. I'll post it there. And you see, it's a 40 minutes drive. So if you get up in time and at the campsite, then we can make it easily to 100 miles without being too much or too hungry to get our breakfast there. So location fit, is done. So now what you want to do is we move on to the second lens. Now we want to have proof. So in our case, we ended up with Moosehaven, and what we did is basically we used filters to find the best spots, and we usually go with 4.5 stars, and that is, you have to take always a bit cautious, because sometimes when you look at the reviews, there might be the best ones, the closest ones from the past 2 years are great, 5 out of 5 for example, and there were maybe over 100 reviews that were bad, 2 or 3 stars. That bring down the whole rating, of course. And if you see that, maybe you need to go back and dial back if you can't find any campsite that fits you, if you use this rating 4.5. And then you look around and look for places that might fit you. So we ended up with Moosehaven, and then we wanted to have the proof, right? As it is the second lens, right? So you go into reviews. What do you want to do? Look for the newest reviews and then see what they are all about. If the majority, look from when they are, months ago, awesome. If the majority is positive, then it's highly probable that is a great spot. But to be sure, you want to look at the lowest ratings too. Sorry, I need to move my picture a bit that you can see the campground over here. And then when you go through the negative comments, you need to read them properly to see if there's any pattern, or if there are just certain special requirements that people have that doesn't affect you at all. If, for example, a smoker would end up in a smoking campground and is frustrated that he's not allowed to smoke, but obviously he didn't read the guidelines or the policy of the campground, then you can take this for granted, or just with a grain of salt, this review, right? So, but overall, proof is here, and we go into the pictures deeper afterwards, but you can briefly check the pictures if this would appeal you and if it would be any good for you. And that brings you, just beforehand, one thing you could do as well. If you found a decent spot, you could change the view of Google Maps and look at the satellite view. Why you want to do that? In that case, is you see there's just nature around you. There won't be a lot of noise. It's an open campground, you see that? No, there's enough distance in between. You can't see that very well now here, but you usually get enough privacy. But there's a lot of nature, so not a lot of noise as well, which is great. But could be a point at the campground if you're close to a highway, for example. Then it can be really noisy and you would see certain things better. If the campsite, for example, has forest type of spots within a forest, might be less noisy due to the trees. But if it's an open campground like this one, then it would affect you and might be a bit annoying, even though the ratings would be great. Just to take this into account. So if this already saved you a lot of time and helped you a lot too, then please subscribe to my channel. It would help me a lot and would appreciate it a lot too. And don't forget to grab my 3-lens checklist and the Google Map description below. And if you have anything to add or something I've missed, then let me know in the comments. So now we have spoken about the location, the proof. Now it's about the vibe. And for that, we're going back to the pictures from the Hathaway campground. And what we want to see is firsthand if the pictures are current. Are the topical pictures? Nah, not really, but it looks decent. And what you want to do now is maybe to visit the homepage of the campground. You usually find that in this window when you scroll down and see there's the campsite, the website. And what you want to do is to check some social pages like Facebook to see if there's anything current that will help you decide if that might be something for you. you see some current pictures, look on Instagram and see some current updates. They're from last year mostly, but this should give you a hint, an idea, if it is the way that it looks like on the pictures of Google. And you could even maybe check on TripAdvisor to get a better idea about the vibe, and they might have more pictures that are up to date or more recent. That is getting an idea about the vibe. Then you always could check, sometimes they have pictures on the web pages too, so then you get an idea of the whole place in general. Like, for example, this one. Oh, it doesn't show me the whole picture here, but this way you can have a clear idea how the place looks, so more insight into the vibe of the place. And it really looks beautiful, and it is as it looks like on these pictures. Then as you come with an RV, as we're talking about campgrounds, you can check the RV page to get an idea about the amenities and the facilities. And if it's important for you to have a laundry on site, then this is the place. It has even free high-speed internet and, well, first full hookup. Great. You might need to check also the guidelines, do's and don'ts, that you are informed beforehand, that you won't get surprised. And then, of course, look for things like, do they offer boat rentals? Someplace you can go fishing, you can buy a license on site. Then how does the playground look like? Do they have shallow lake access, especially for smaller children? All things that are important. And in this case, it really looks very decent, very beautiful. And again, I can underline that it is just as it looks on the picture. Let's recap. Hope you see, yeah, you see everything. Always have to double check on the side if everything is on screen there. The 3 L's in action. So location fit, checked. When we look direction-wise on both sides, 100-mile horse flying and clear water, it is all in line with the guidelines we set us. So clear check, see clear water. It's a bit longer than the other place we looked at. Horsefly, it must be close enough as it is far away from clear water. Great, even less than 2 hours. And 100 miles before we had, I think, 40 minutes. And now it is just half an hour. Awesome, even some more time saved. So we can say location, check. And then proof, yes, if you look at the reviews and the pictures, it looks great. Positive reviews are also we have very recent positive reviews as well. Check. And if you look at the vibe, we saw that it has great amenities for children. Boat rental station is there. It has a laundry, what we wanted. A ton of things. So vibe, also check. So we can say our verdict will be, yes, that's it. That's the spot we want to go. And that was actually the case. And a few things now, some tips that I can give you on the way. So what you want to make sure, and the checklist that you can use for yourself, is something that worked very well for us. So we made sure that the drive times were just between 2 and 3 hours. That worked out very well. And you won't get too exhausted driving hours and just rushing the places. Then always check for these pictures to get the news proof that it is still what it is, and as it is presented on websites and Google. Don't just use old marketing pictures. And that's why it's important that you check for the social accounts, TripAdvisor and Google, just to make sure. And then, of course, the vibe. Always make sure that it has what it offers and that you have all the amenities that you need in this case. But true to my philosophy, traveling like locals, if you're looking for another great way to avoid crowds and get the full natural retreat, maybe you're looking for that, then I would look for the following things. Use a quiet window, meaning look for the Sunday to Wednesday window for booking. It usually is less crowded. Then look for less or no hookup places. Bring cash for self-registration places, usually for provincial campsites. Then download the offline maps beforehand. Maybe make screenshots. You're well prepared in case there won't be any cell signal, that you are well prepared. And then of course follow the wildlife safety rules and check official closures beforehand of campgrounds. And then very important, some seasonality checks that you need to adhere and need to incorporate while traveling. Glance at the review dates by month and see if there is any weekend searches possible or visible. Then confirm seasonal dates, meaning if you travel in high season, it might be the most expensive period. So what I say is the prices vary depending on the season you're traveling. Then look for fire bans and road closures. And that is a point I really want to highlight here. Really make sure to look beforehand if there is any road closure and fire bans, because we happen to experience it. We had to drive another route on the way from Revelstock to Moosehaven Campground, where we ended up driving almost 9 hours instead of 4 or 5 hours. So really make sure, and I pressure that to check that beforehand. So you've got the system, the 3 lenses, which is location, proof and wipe, and you saw it in action. If you need another example, then check out the video that's coming up next, and where I did the same thing with another campground, which is also in my point of view a hidden gem. Bit more people, but awesome place, very beautiful as well. And if you need more insight about how I do the things and find these places, then check out the video above, where I show the whole system, where it comes from. And if this has helped you, then please subscribe to the channel. It would help me tons. And grab the 3 lens checklist below, the Google Maps links. And if I have missed anything, just let me know in the comments below. And with that, cheers, arrivederci, and take care.